Imagine for a moment that your body is trying to send you a silent, almost imperceptible, but extremely important warning, something that doesn't appear suddenly, doesn't cause immediate shock, but emerges gradually, like small signs that many people ignore for years. Now think, what if these signs were exactly what could prevent a bigger problem later on? That's why today I want you to stay with me from the beginning, because what we're going to talk about can change the way you observe your own body. And more, it can help you act before any complication arises. It's a simple but powerful invitation. Pay attention to every detail, because understanding these signs is one of the greatest gifts you can give to your health. Do you know someone who should hear this information? Share it with them, because health and quality of life, especially from reliable sources, are always welcome. When we talk about circulation, many people only remember problems when something serious happens. But the truth is that the body usually gives warnings much earlier. It gives small, specific, and often visible signs. One of the first messages appears in the skin, hair, and toenails of the legs. This happens because arteries need to carry oxygen-rich blood and nutrients to the extremities, and when this path begins to narrow, something common in processes like atherosclerosis, the flow is reduced. The skin may begin to change texture, becoming thinner, shinier, as if it were stretched too much. Hair may fall out, especially in the shin area, without any other apparent explanation. And toenails, which depend on constant nutrients, may grow more slowly, becoming opaque or brittle. These signs seem simple, but they show that the body is receiving less repair material than it needs. Another very important symptom is that calf pain that appears when you walk and improves quickly when you stop for a moment. It's as if the muscle is urgently asking for a break. This happens because the calf is one of the muscles that works the most during the day. If the arteries that supply this region are narrowed, the muscle doesn't receive enough oxygen during exertion and responds with pain. This sensation is classic and deserves special attention because it indicates that blood flow may be limited. It's not just an end-of-day discomfort, but a clear message from the body that something needs to be investigated. And when the problem isn't in the arteries, but in the veins, the sign is usually different and much more evident. When a leg suddenly swells, becomes hot, painful, and changes color, this may indicate a clot obstructing a deep vein. The key point here is the difference between one leg and the other. If one leg is normal and the other presents this set of changes, it's a situation that should never be ignored. The formation of a clot, known as deep vein thrombosis, is something that requires immediate medical evaluation. Factors such as prolonged immobility, recent surgeries, the use of certain hormones, and large varicose veins can increase this risk. When blood cannot circulate as it should, the body gives clues. Each symptom is a form of communication. It doesn't shout at first, it whispers. And when we learn to listen to these whispers, we gain the chance to act early, preventing complications that could arise in the future. Following our conversation, I want to show you how the body also manifests signals when the heart begins to work under pressure. Pain or discomfort in the chest during exertion is a classic example. It's the heart muscle complaining because it's not receiving enough oxygen at that moment. This type of discomfort usually improves with rest, indicating a temporary difficulty in blood flow through the coronary arteries. But there's a very important detail. The body doesn't always present this signal in a typical way. Some people only feel a slight pressure, a burning sensation reminiscent of heartburn, or even a heaviness that comes and goes for no clear reason. Therefore, any change of this type deserves attention, especially when accompanied by shortness of breath, cold sweats, or dizziness. And there's a group that tends to receive even more subtle signals: women. Often, the body manifests symptoms that are misleading and easily attributed to tiredness or stress. Sudden and intense fatigue, which arises even after little effort, can be a clue that the heart is complaining. Shortness of breath during simple activities, back or jaw pain, nausea, and a strange sensation you can't explain can also indicate that coronary circulation isn't functioning as it should. The great challenge is that these signs, being uncommon, often go unnoticed. Therefore, listening to your own body is fundamental. There's no exaggeration when it comes to identifying changes that weren't present before. Another important message that circulation gives us appears in the form of memory lapses and a constant feeling of mental fogginess. The brain is an organ that requires a continuous flow of oxygen to function properly. When the arteries that carry blood to it begin to narrow, the ability to reason, remember, and make decisions can be compromised. This happens slowly, often mistaken for tiredness or aging. But when this difficulty appears frequently and interferes with daily tasks, we need to consider that there may be a compromise in cerebral circulation. This type of alteration is preventable and treatable when detected in time, which once again reinforces the importance of paying attention to small changes. Now, I want to talk about one of the most significant and least discussed signs among men: difficulty maintaining an erection. Although it's a sensitive topic for many, it's important to know that an erection depends directly on the rapid arrival of blood to the arteries that supply the area. These arteries are very thin, and therefore any narrowing appears there before affecting larger arteries, such as those of the heart. When this symptom appears gradually and without an evident emotional cause, it can be an early warning sign that vascular health needs to be evaluated more carefully. Understanding this as a physical sign, and not as a judgment of strength, age, or masculinity, is essential for preserving overall health. And there is an equivalent warning sign that often appears in women: intense cramps that occur during rest, especially at night. These are not the occasional, but rather those that wake the person up in the middle of the night, repeatedly, with severe pain and a feeling of muscle locking. When this becomes frequent, it may indicate that blood flow is so reduced that the muscle suffers even when at rest. This is a sign that deserves investigation because it represents a more advanced stage of inadequate circulation. So far, we've seen how the body tries to communicate that something is wrong. The good news is that there are always ways to improve circulation, strengthen arteries, and reduce risks. Moving your body several times a day, even for just a few seconds, makes a difference. Repeatedly rising onto your tiptoes, for example, activates the calf muscles, which act as a natural pump, aiding blood return. Diet also plays an essential role, especially when it includes foods that help relax blood vessels and protect the inner walls of arteries. Garlic, beets, and dark leafy greens are simple, everyday examples that contribute significantly to this. Controlling stress is also part of this care. When the body remains in a state of alert for too long, it releases substances that irritate and weaken the lining of blood vessels. Therefore, breathing techniques, conscious pauses throughout the day, and activities that bring pleasure are more important than they seem. And, among the care measures that cannot be overlooked, quitting smoking and keeping weight under control are at the top of the list, as they are factors directly linked to vascular health. The key to everything is knowing the signals, interpreting what your body is saying, and acting early. Information is not meant to generate fear, but to empower decision-making. When you understand what your body is trying to communicate, you become capable of acting at the right time, avoiding serious problems, and protecting your health continuously and consciously. Our conversation today showed that the body is never silent when something is wrong with circulation. It warns us through the skin, muscles, breathing, memory, and even more intimate signs that are often ignored out of shame or lack of information. Each of these symptoms, when observed carefully, can prevent problems that arise unexpectedly. The key is to recognize that these signs are not exaggerations or coincidences, but small messages that deserve to be listened to with care and responsibility. As a practical tip, I want to reinforce something simple and accessible. Observe yourself daily. Small changes become big warning signs when you get to know your own pattern. Pay attention to your mood, the way you walk, the appearance of the skin on your legs, your breathing, and even the quality of your rest. And whenever something seems different, seek guidance. Early detection is always safer, easier, and more effective. Thank you for staying with me until now. As a preventative medicine doctor, I'm happy to be able to transform information into care and care into real health. That has always been my purpose. If this content resonated with you, please share it with someone who could benefit from this information. With a simple gesture, you can help another person notice signs they might have missed. Taking care of your health begins with attention and is strengthened by action. Let's walk this path together. Warm regards, and until our next meeting,